Hi guys, welcome to I5 Math. Today's video is the second part of our mixed numbers video series. In part 1, we learned about improper fractions, mixed numbers, and how to convert from one to the other. In part 2, we will learn how to add mixed numbers. Part 3 will focus on subtraction. The multiplication and division of mixed numbers will be explained in part 4 and 5. So let's get started. When we add or subtract mixed numbers, we tackle the whole part separately from the fraction parts. Addition and subtraction of whole numbers is quite easy, but performing these operations with fractions often requires finding a common denominator. If you need a refresher on how to do this, check out our adding and subtracting unlike fractions and LCM videos. We will post the links in the video's description below. Let's try to do some examples together. 3 1/8 plus 2 1/6 plus 5 1/4 equals, we don't know yet. The first thing we need to do is rewrite the problem in such a way that the whole numbers are separate from the fractions. 3 plus 2 plus 5 plus 1/8 plus 1/6 plus 1/4 equals, we still don't know yet. 3 plus 2 plus 5 equals 10. Easy enough. As we can see, all fractions in the second parentheses are unlike fractions because they have different denominators. In order to be able to add them, we need to find their common denominator. Using the prime factorization method, let's break down each original denominator into its prime factors. 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2. 6 equals 2 times 3. 4 equals 2 times 2. So far, so good. We ended up only having two kinds of factors, the numbers 2 and 3. Now, we need to take each kind of factor at its greatest number of repetitions and multiply them together. The product of this multiplication will be the least common multiple, or LCM, of the original denominator. 2 times 2 times 2 times 3 equals 24. The number 24 will also serve as the common denominator for our three fractions. So, let's proceed. Because we need each fraction to have 24 as a common denominator, we multiply its original denominator by the proper factor./However, in order to keep the fraction value unchanged, we perform the same multiplication to its numerator. 1/8 times 3/3 equals 3/24. 1/6 times 4/4 equals 4/24. 1/4 times 6/6 equals 6/24. Now we have three like fractions and we can add them together. 3/24 plus 4/24 plus 6/24 equals 13/24. The last step is to take the sum of the three whole numbers and add it to the sum of the fractions. 10 plus 13/24 equals 10 13/24. Let's summarize the steps. When we add mixed numbers, we tackle the whole part separately from the fraction parts. First, we separate the whole numbers from the fractions. Second, we add the whole numbers. Third, we add the fractions. And lastly, we take the sum of the whole numbers and add it to the sum of the fractions. Sometimes, we may have a math problem where, when we add up the fraction parts of the mixed numbers, we may end up with an improper fraction. Do you remember what this type of fraction is? You got it, a fraction with a greater numerator than a denominator. For example, 7/3, 10/4, 100/37, and so on. We would still add the whole numbers and the fractions separately, just like we already learned. However, the improper fraction we would get needs to be modified into a mixed number itself in order to find the solution. Here's an example. 3 4/5 plus 2 3/5. The whole numbers 3 plus 2 equals 5. The fractions 4/5 plus 3/5 equals 7/5. 7/5 can be turned into a mixed number 1 2/5. Wait a minute, do you remember how to turn improper fractions into mixed numbers? We covered this in part 1 of the mixed numbers series. Let's review the steps quickly. First, divide the numerator by the denominator. 7 divided by 5 equals 1 remainder 2. Then, take the whole part of the quotient and use the remainder as the new numerator. And finally, keep the old denominator the same. Now, we can merge everything together. 5 plus 1 plus 2/5 equals 6 2/5. That's all for today, guys. You now know how to add mixed numbers. Make sure to check out the remaining 3 parts of the mixed fraction series. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Make sure to subscribe to our channel and click the notification bells. Like and share our videos. Until next time, High Five Math.